Well, it's a great pleasure to talk about Calcutta in my works. I think it's well known that Calcutta plays a significant role in my fiction. And for me, I think it's not just a place, but a time in one's life. I spent my childhood and early youth in the city. And I think a place you experience when you're very young has a hold on you which, is not comparable to anything you experience later on. Because when you're very young, experience moves you in a very strange and powerful way. Um, you you're moved by things, but you don't understand it, and this lack, Calcutta actually exists for me in this lack between experience and understanding. And that's why it's so powerful. Even so, I'd say it's in my second novel, The Firebird, that the city really came fully alive for me. In the first novel, Silverfish, I think my approach to the city was somewhat anthropological, and I feel it lacked life. But in The Firebird, which is a story of the city's theatre, seen through a young boy's perspective on his mother, who's an actress, and how the different traditions of theatre kind of hung on to a kind of city's theatre, decadent tradition which is linked to prostitution and enjoyment, and a progressive Marxist tradition. I think that tells a very important story about Calcutta. And since then, I've been fascinated by, what Calcutta symbolizes a kind of a stalled modernity. It was the great hub of Bengal modernity in the 19th century, but somehow after the independence, it hasn't quite progressed. And those of us who grew up in the city in the 80s, have this memory of load sheddings and traffic jams. And there was a kind of a stalling of progress, a kind of space where nothing happens. And I've written about this in my criticism and my scholarship too, which I think makes this city a fascinating one, a frustrating one to live in as a citizen, but a fascinating one, for an artist to write about. And I think there's nothing quite comparable. The intimacy of culture, you know, the architecture, and I've written a lot about North Calcutta, which I think is much less represented than South Calcutta, which writers tend to write about much more. And it's just been completely fascinating how that city, continues to be.